I am Linda Wright, and I'm a volunteer at Love Inc.
Tell me how you originally got involved with Love Inc.
I had cared for my husband at home for a few years, and so I was out of touch at church and what have you. And when I went back to church, the representative in our church, which is Ridgeview Baptist, Vicki Rankin, knew that I had done other volunteer things as well as being busy and all kinds of stuff in the church. And she told me about this new ministry and brought me over and checked it out and was checked out, and here we are 6 years later.
Why did you originally get involved? What about this strange ministry in Fishersville appealed to you?
Well, the fact that it was serving people who had needs, and the camaraderie, I'm going to use that word a lot of times, the spirit in this place is so strong in caring. The love of God is evident here. It's aptly named love in the name of Christ because everybody is serving. And we got involved in various ways. Many of us who work as volunteers are senior citizens, and so it just seemed like a good fit.
You said the Spirit of God just felt evident. What was your first, when did you know that? When did you walk in and say, oh, this is evident here? Do you have a recollection of that?
Well, it wasn't. It was the vibes off the people that interviewed me and so forth. All of us believers know there is something there that is invisible, but sooner or later you can identify it as where it's coming from, and that's the Spirit of God that holds us all together. And that's one of the wonderful things about volunteering here. Whoops, I'm getting ahead on questions.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
A sense of belonging in a group with people who have similar stuff going on, especially those of us, many of us are senior citizens, and those of us who work in the warehouse, several of us are widows, so.
So it gives you something meaningful to do with your time that you need.
Absolutely. And rewarding. Sure. On every level.
What was your role originally when you first came here?
I worked in what was called the warehouse then, which is now the distribution center. It was very different than it is now. Dark and cold, and was just as crowded though with stuff as it is now, but not so organized. And then I got involved in the Loving Your Neighbor program, doing childcare in the nursery while the neighbors were having their classes. And then, meanwhile, I was still working in the warehouse once a week. And then when the stores opened, I started helping at the store in Stewart's Draft, a gathering place. Well, early on, nobody had a specific job. You just did whatever needed to be done, and it was empty, and just like it is now, is opening boxes and seeing what's in it, and somebody telling you, that'll be good there, that'll be good there. We had one store then when I came, and so stuff was going to the store to help support the ministry, and of course the stuff that we needed for the neighbors, that always has the priority. And that hasn't changed, basically. It's a little more organized.
What has been your favorite part, or parts, about volunteering?
The relationships, the spirit of, again, camaraderie, caring. We get to know each other, those of us who've worked together for a while, we get to know each other's families and their family difficulties, and we share praises and we share prayer requests, and we pass on news about somebody we haven't heard from for a while, and birthday card signings and get well card signings, and all kinds of personal interaction that is as important to those of us who are more than empty nesters. We're a lot of us are widows. To come together and keep using the same word, share.
How have you seen loving and volunteering, this whole experience, kind of come alongside you and help you?
It filled the void of having something useful to do and to be used of God in some way. Like I said in the beginning, I did Sunday school, adult children's Sunday school. I taught a women's Bible study on the side. I volunteered at Comfort Care. I did all kinds of things, and it was a different stage in my life, and it fit, and so it filled that gap, and the sense of always of being used of God.
What will you miss the most, or what are the things or people? What will you personally miss most about volunteering?
I will miss the people that I work with, the volunteers in the distribution center, and some of the office that I've known a long time. Some are newcomers and haven't had a chance to get to know them very well. The fact that I have something useful to do, and because I was just became the linen lady, and I had time on my hands as a widow and took stuff home and processed it to be ready to go to the store in Stewart's Draft. So it filled time, gave me a purpose, gave me a circle of friends, having something to think about and do outside of my little self.
Very good.
That's a good thing you're going to edit.
Yeah. No, this was great.